The notion that the science on climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is a claim that has gained significant traction in certain circles. However, this assertion is not supported by factual evidence and is often rooted in misinformation and a lack of understanding of the scientific consensus on climate change. The overwhelming majority of climate scientists agree that human activities, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases from burning fossil fuels, are significantly contributing to the warming of the planet. Climate change is a complex and multidisciplinary issue that has been studied by thousands of scientists from various fields, including atmospheric science, oceanography, geology, and biology. The scientific consensus on climate change is clear: it is real, it is caused by human activities, and it poses significant risks to the environment, human health, and the economy. This consensus is based on decades of research, including temperature records, shrinking ice sheets, glacier retreat, sea level rise, and shifts in the timing of seasonal events. The claim that the science on climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is often based on the idea that climate change is a form of secular or liberal ideology that is being imposed on people of faith. However, this claim is unfounded and ignores the fact that many Christians and people of other faiths are actively engaged in climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts. In fact, many religious leaders and organizations, including the Pope and the Evangelical Environmental Network, have spoken out about the moral imperative to address climate change and protect the planet. Moreover, the science on climate change is not based on ideology or faith, but rather on empirical evidence and observation. Climate scientists use a variety of methods to study the climate, including computer models, satellite data, and field observations. These methods have consistently shown that the planet is warming and that human activities are the primary cause of this warming. The evidence for climate change is overwhelming, and it is not limited to temperature records. Other indicators, such as sea level rise, glacier retreat, and shifts in the distribution of plants and animals, all point to a planet that is undergoing significant changes. The idea that climate change is a hoax or a form of manipulation is often perpetuated by special interest groups and individuals who have a vested interest in denying the reality of climate change. These groups often use cherry-picked data, misinformation, and flawed logic to cast doubt on the science. However, their claims have been thoroughly debunked by the scientific community, and the overwhelming majority of climate scientists agree that climate change is real and caused by human activities. It is also worth noting that the claim that climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is often based on a flawed understanding of the relationship between science and faith. While it is true that science and faith are two different ways of understanding the world, they are not mutually exclusive. Many scientists are people of faith, and many people of faith are actively engaged in scientific research and discovery. The idea that science and faith are in conflict is a false dichotomy that ignores the complexity and nuance of human experience. In conclusion, the claim that the science on climate change is a lie to manipulate Christians is unfounded and not supported by factual evidence. The scientific consensus on climate change is clear, and it is based on decades of research and observation. Climate change is a complex and multidisciplinary issue that requires a comprehensive and nuanced approach, and this is not a form of secular or liberal ideology. Rather, it is a pressing global issue that requires immediate attention and action from people of all faiths and backgrounds. By working together and relying on the best available scientific evidence, we can address the challenges posed by climate change and create a more sustainable and equitable future for all.